I'm happy to introduce Gustavo. Gustavo is the CEO of EV Insights. So happy to introduce you for the second part.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. So thanks all to attend this conference in München. My first time here, so I'm enjoying this time, sunny days. We have Christoph Ebert, at E.ON Drive for the German market. Then Mr. Brendan Koehler at Elli Volkswagen, a company of Volkswagen Group. Sebastian Arnold, team lead on Smatrics. And Mr. Liao, NIO Deutschland. So all of you guys share one thing, is the German market, dark markets. And that's a huge challenge, right now? Zero incentive, no money for EVs. Let's start with one by one, So I would like to introduce key ideas that came to my mind after these random talks in the previous moments. We haven't the chance to meet before, but there is something very interesting to me happening with this e-mobility transformation. I mean, companies established companies like E.ON, entering into new markets, like E.ON selling charging solutions for residential, for public. This is something new you didn't before. Or automakers selling or distributing energy. That didn't happen with the gas cars. Software companies trying to figure out what is this chargers things. And for instance, NIO trying to succeed in this swap business idea, which is very unique. How do you see the future? It will be winners and losers. Of course, you never will say that your companies will lose. But do you think there are some risk threatens in the near future, in the next maybe 12 months? For instance, in Germany, we have been seeing the slow in the sales of cars.
Hello. Absolutely. A lot of threats out there. I think the energy business is a business where changing the provider is not very likely to happen unless you're very interested in the past, before the energy crisis, in not spending, let's say, very, very little amounts of money to the one or the other, so to decide on the better one or the cheaper one. But that's completely changing now with, I would say, after the crisis, with all the chances of smart energy and with the additional loads and the additional energy needs of an electric car, the amount of energy and the money you pay for it is pushing yourself to think about how can I do that greener and cheaper. So this is a threat for an energy company. For example, Volkswagen is also offering energy tariffs, which beforehand belonged to E.ON maybe. So this threat is absolutely there. And as seen in the UK, there are a lot of people changing their energy tariffs. For us, it's so the story is to offer the customer, out of one hand, the whole solution. And that is for the new market of e-mobility also a part of charging infrastructure and for sure also smart tariffs.
Maybe pick up on that. Hi, everybody. Pick up on that. I think it's an interesting, I wouldn't necessarily say there's threats. Of course, there are threats here. It's a changing industry at the moment. And it's very, very young. We're all at the forefront of it. And, I've been doing it for quite some time. But there's other people who are doing it longer. But we're still very much at the beginning of this industry. And to pick up on it, I mean, you have the convergence of so many different players coming now. Back to you look at the conventional. It's a diesel car, energy business with the energy guys. They do the home and industrial stuff. OEMs built the cars, sold the cars, as then you have the petroleum guys that sell the oil and diesel. And that was business model, and everyone was pretty good. It was like that for many years. And now you see a change, right? And things are becoming, of course, a lot more software-driven, clever. The OEMs to say, okay, well, maybe we can get the energy business. The oil guys also say, well, actually, powering a car, moving a car is our business. So they can see them already going into our generation business, also trying to get the residential business and the public space. That's where it all sort of comes together. So is it a fight? Maybe it's a fight, but it's a very competitive landscape at the moment. Everyone's going after that market. a lot of investments, very expensive to run it, not a lot of revenues, very thin margins, if at all margin. And that's, I think, a challenge everyone has. How do you best position yourself here to be a part of that wave? Because it will grow at some point. But I think at the moment now, that's kind of the struggle is how much do you invest, how do you invest, and how do you really maintain that market? And we all know that capital markets are a little bit resting as they were 3 years ago. So it's a bit, the shareholders are less patient than they were maybe a couple of years ago. And that's putting the pressure on our business, and that's also the pressure on the industry. Maybe to add on that, I think what's very interesting about the EV charger and the charging infrastructure market is compared to combustion cars, there you needed specific players, petrol stations that needed also very specific infrastructure in order to provide the infrastructure for combustion cars. With EV cars, you have the charging stations at the highways, but you have way more opportunity. You can charge at work, you can charge at home, you can have your own photovoltaic power generation and charge with that energy at home. So it opens up, of course, in a way broader front that also is way more complicated, more players, more complex solutions where you integrate software, but you integrate with the energy companies because, of course, maybe too much energy production has to be put back to the grids. You have V2G, or maybe even like how much power can actually be taken from, how much power can be taken from the grids, and that you can adapt to all this. You have these complex players and also the OEMs that, of course, they want to support this change towards EV cars and therefore also invest into the infrastructure and everything around it. And I think this gives a lot of opportunities. And of course, you will see as well a bit of failures. It's always the case in a changing industry that you have winners and losers. And I think it will consolidate a bit more in the future. But I think what is now in the case is that we have to become more and more reliable, and that certain companies that actually provide this reliability will actually be the ones to be on top of the struggle.
Yeah, my name is Yu. I've come from China, but I have been in Germany for over 22 years. I have studied here and worked here by Siemens, wonderful everywhere. I have to say, I have my e-car of NIO since 2 years. I drive per year over 60,000 kilometers. I use any charger in any highways. I have to say, I drive car also to Italy, France, California, everywhere, even China. I think the German charge should be the best one, I have to say, because the reason for that, because the location is exactly incredible, perfect. For example, E.ON, every highway you go to the exit directly in the car start, you can find always E.ON train, the best. But the other part should be in BMW. If you go to the auto top, you see the blue. The other part is only BMW. And for our driver, we need normally to see in the exit, in the indicators, the blue indicators. You have to know, is there a supercharger or only 50 kV from E.ON? Only is 88 BMW has a faster charger signed up for you. That means we have there in the A8 but the only battlefield, I don't know, probably that is something difficult. Only there in the A8 you can find out 300 kV. So that is important. 300 kV charger for the e-drivers normally 61. It's really good. Yeah, we offer also swapping. We can also charge the cars, no problem. But we have also the cooperation with the BMW. I have to see the supercharger now in Germany. The whole highway and cover the whole map is already good enough. It's really good enough. And here you can see also from Clouding, from Carter, from everywhere. But we see also slowly more and more corporates from different provider for this. I have to see NIO. We are from car industry, but for me personally, I always stay in the power industry. In the charger story, normally we have three kinds of operators. The one is from car, for example, Porsche or BMW, they have all charge network. And the other side is from the grid operators like E.ON, like EMBW, and in China State Grid and South Grid. And then we have also third-party standalone international, very like eDrive, and with OVX different charging operators. I have to see now in Germany, it's really the charging station from the big concern, energy concern, E.ON, AR, Share, all the big, the gigantic charging operators. They have the better service, I have to say. And in the other countries, perhaps from the car providers somehow better because the grid over there is not so strong. But I have to say we have to use the advantage now in Germany, the green, cheaper energy, dynamic, different tariff, and the daily always sunshine, the afternoon, very cheaper price, V2G and the social stories. And I see everyone's future now in German market.
Thanks, Mr. Liao. That was brilliant. I mean, every intervention is giving me a lot of questions and ideas, but I would like to take the round back again to Mr. Ebert. Actually, E.ON has a impressive project of testing. Yeah, I would say there is just, I don't know if it's the only one in Europe. Yeah, but I would say if there is more, not more than 2 or 3. Yeah, energy companies investing in because the energy business is distributing energy, but you are testing the compatibility with cars. This was a strong commitment, and this testing project has delivered some new discoveries that you might want to share with us in terms of adopting like vehicle to grid, vehicle to home, or monitoring network, which is actually challenges and opportunities. Have you discovered new things on this testing? Yeah, right.
It's our testing lab. We opened that in January. We do that since years now. I think it's 5 or 6 years that we test, for example, also with Volkswagen to try to have the perfect interoperability, not only between the charger and the car, but also if we combine that with a photovoltaic system or with a battery, it must not come from one supplier. The interoperability must, for us as a solution provider, work with several suppliers. And we can talk about standards, but the standards are still, I would say, to be developed. Also OCPP in the electric mobility charging is not OCPP for every charger type or charger manufacturer the same. So this is the reason why we test before we give it to our customers. What we found out we have certain quality standards that might be a little bit higher than the typical standards of TÜV. We find that 80% of AC chargers, for example, failed in the first round. So we are working together with those charger suppliers to try to find solutions to make it better. Maybe a topic on IT, or maybe also a topic on HSC, so on health, security, or environment that we find out there, and we try to make, let's say, this a little bit better in collaboration with all our suppliers and even more than our suppliers. And this is the reason why we try to bring that together in one testing lab. And speaking about the e-trucks beforehand, that's something, we also are pretty new in, and we have to test also in this part of the electric mobility infrastructure, how do things interact with each other.
That's a very high rate of failure. I was impressed of that. Yeah, I mean that's great to create such a openness project with your suppliers or your partners. But I guess it's not easy for all to achieve the improvements. Yeah, maybe you can share that the microphone wasn't out.
Why the 70% are failing in the first run? Because the telecommunication now in Germany is horrible. It's really, don't joke, it's limits the overuse. It's really, if you go to some location over wire somewhere, you cannot find any telecommunication site. You cannot start any chargers, and you cannot call the fault line. It's horrible. Even for me, I'm the head of power and supposed to be really charging. I was suffering of that. I called help. You know, this is the problem, but it's really not our problem. It's really telecommunications horrible.
Yeah. I am using a Spanish. I live in Germany, but I'm using a Spanish SIM card, and sometimes I just walking over the streets and I'm just out of communication for 10 minutes. Yeah, and we are in Europe where it's supposed to be a roaming market, but. Maybe Sebastian can speak about this because I think you have a lot of skills in the telco industry, yeah, to share with us.
We don't really, for us, telecommunication, like, of course, is also a requirement because we have to communicate with our chargers. But I can relate with that as well. Like, we provide a CPMS, so a software to operate chargers, and we're very stringent with which hardware we actually call compatible with our software. So because there are software providers that give you a backend and they say, as long as the charger says it's OTPP compliant, you can operate with this software. But this is actually not how we work. We work with very stringent requirements where we test as well the communication, because every hardware provider has a certain dialect of OCPP. So we have different stages. We say this charger or this hardware is compatible with our CPMS, then is certified, where we even test even more. We actually recommend it to you. And then another stage is where we take it into our portfolio and we actually sell the hardware as well. And less, there are very few hardware types that actually get to the stage, second or third stage, because there's so much difference in how protocols of different hardware interact.
Yeah, for established companies, software might be a sensitive word. Maybe you have learned some lessons, in the past at Volkswagen. Yeah, we all know that it was difficult to learn new skills and introduce like new standards or something far from the traditional business.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, software is, let's say, Volkswagen strong suit. It's quite an old established company. Elli is about 5 years old now. It was started as essentially a startup with Startup 5. Okay, our shareholder is 100% Volkswagen, but it was okay. It was a recognition that a big company like Volkswagen cannot have the speed to offer all the home charging and public charging solutions. So Elli was said, okay, go, and we built up like a startup to work in a very agile way. And of course now we're scaling up as we're growing up, and we're a part of Volkswagen, so they're also expecting us as our major shareholder to return a profit. But our focus is very much the energy industry and being a software-driven company around that. So maybe whatever has been said here, they know it. I think a lot of people that work in industry understand I always call it the wild, wild west of public charging, because there's just a lot out there. There's very good players, very bad players. And by bad players, there's a lot of the times people that invested 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago in infrastructure. And maybe they've run out of capital and, maybe lost focus and maintain those chargers. Some of the new players come in, new investment, then do better things. So from our perspective, that's what we look at, being in the Volkswagen context. We're focusing, and I always take our German driver, I always call our German driver, our main driver, is Helmut. And he is a 50 to 60-year-old male. It's his first electric car. He's not a techie. He doesn't drive a Tesla. He wants his car to go, and he's happy to drive electric because he can maybe also afford the price premium. That suits his lifestyle. And that customer, he just wants to go to the charger, it should just work. And the question is, how do you bridge that? Because a customer opens, for example, our app with, close to 700,000 charging points on it, doesn't know which CPU is good. Doesn't know which one's bad. He expects there to go, and everyone's driven an electric car, beyond maybe in Germany, has the exact same experience. You get there and go to the charger, and it's like, okay, and especially being in Spain, sometimes as well, I've driven through Spain, I see our tunnel as well. No offense to Spain, but I've driven through Spain, and in the app was okay, a charger's here. I'm not, it's working. Yeah. Well, not working is the second step. First is find the charger, because a lot of the time where it is, it's not where it is. Yeah. I've also been through Italy and got there and found a nice charger that was behind a construction bed, and you can't get there. And that's the issue, right? So what we work here is with CPOs. Let's focus on quality. We don't necessarily discriminate against people that lack quality. We work with them to try to improve the backend. We give a lot of feedback, a lot of dialogue to improve the charging experience. But what the customer expects is give me some guidance about what is the difference between going to this charger or that charger. So we've launched what we call Selected Partner Network. We work with CPOs that offer high quality to guide our customers there. So you open the app, and they get a little star, a little crowd next to their net, and the customer knows, okay, because that's the infrastructure is so good. You've got, if you go from Munich to Berlin, you've got, 600 kilometers roughly, you've got over 100 chargers, probably high performance chargers to pick from, and then you've got one every 15, 20 kilometers. Which one's the good one? Which one is really on the highway? Which one's going to work when you plug the car in? Which one's not going to have queuing? Which one may have a route? Which one's offering the best experience? And that's what we do, is that we try to guide the customer, and they'll work the CPO, say, that is likely to offer you far better experience than maybe an alternative CPO.
Yeah, indeed, Brendan, did you mention something which is a hot topic? Yeah, the reliability of the network. It's not only about having more charging stations, it's about having a reliable network. But not only that, but also what about vehicle to grid or vehicle to home? And I think most of the stakeholders goes to energy companies. Like, hey, you are the final point where this is going to be happen. Yeah. Why is it so complicated for energy companies to allow users to use their cars as energy storage devices and put energy into the network?
I think in Germany we are world champions in regulation, so I think this is the reason. And but in the end, I think we don't have to wait for vehicle to grid. As explained before, I think there are a lot of opportunities for a customer to charge his car at home or at work for a cheap price when the energy contract allows that. Or if I have a load management that allows me to change the loads into the time frames where charging is maybe greener or cheaper. So this is, I think, it must not be V2G, it could be V1G, so only charging your car, but intelligently. I think this is now a first step, and that's regulatory-wise pretty easy. I think this is the chance. And just to mention, I think more convenience could be also to install more chargers for the at-work charging. While typically you are at work over days, the sun is shining, we have a lot of energy coming out of the photovoltaic systems over days. To use that in the cars is from the energy overall perspective, so also for the change that we want to fulfill, then a car, an electrical car with a battery, is part of the solution. It's not an additional need for energy. It could be a part of the solution to store energy where I need it. And I think this is the way how we have to think about electric mobility, to use it as part of the energy system. And if V2G happens, that is, let's say, the lever to make it really, really successful. In the end, our calculations are about 2,000 euro per car per year to leverage with a V2G car. But in the end, it's not too easy for the energy company to build that, to make that in a regulatory way easy, that if you sell energy, you are not an energy company, for example, or you are not an energy provider in the classical sense, but you help the energy system to stabilize or even to give energy to someone that needs it at the time. So this is not too easy, honestly, and I think with all the regulatory framework in Germany, we will need some years, but starting with the V1G, making it intelligent, is possible now and should happen now, especially if we think now there is sun outside. Yeah. We produce so much energy at the moment that we even can't use now. In Germany, all over Germany, I think the need for the electrical car of part of that energy transition as part of as being a battery in the energy system is now possible and really, really needed.
I think Mr. Liao wants to say something as an energy expert, but actually I wonder if with this swap system by NIO, it is necessary to consider vehicle to grid in the long run.
Yes, I studied in class with the power system. Actually, from automobile, from car energy, or from the other brands, the word power and energy for them is the same. They don't know the difference between power and energy. Only for the power system, perhaps something use them to drivers. Yeah. Because they call always power to our supply. But actually, our energy world, we have only two products we can get the revenue. The one is power, the other one is energy. Normally, until now, before the e-mobility, the energy, the grid operator, they have 90% revenue only from energy. Only for the bigger industry customer and for the important commercial, they pay more attention for the power, the capacity of transformer and the power capacity price. So for example, now, if we are looking at the charger is a totally different power consumption usage. For example, one charger is 300 kV. If you have 10 by unity, 5 megawatt, 10 megawatt. But only per hour come one user, they use only half an hour and then go. For the grid operator, they like less capacity, but more energy conservation. But for the power charger, they like, okay, very fast charger and go on. Therefore, for example, compared to charger operator CPOs, we provide the swapping solution. We have 20 batteries in one swapping station, but each is 100 kilowatt hours, and therefore I have normally I totally 2 megawatts, but actually I need to transfer only 550 because I can charge them anytime or I like, and I can charge by the different tariff and also make V2G everything with V2V even. Yeah, we can do the V2 PSS. And in that case, we are flexible and we need less place and also less capacity of the transformers. And don't forget, not only in Germany. Germany is the only country with the renewable supply more than 50%. And we have in this solar, I can guarantee that every day negative price if the day sunshine. And in that case, you can charge always your batteries in any time, and then you can discharge them in the night and in the morning and so on. And don't forget, in the past 2 years, we have to pay for nearly €1 in Australia and also in Germany for the charging price. And all of this charger can get investment back within these 2 or 3 years. And after that, what happens? The margin cost is zero, and the end market keep on going. So this change will influence all the storage investor for us, for example, we plan also for the roof solar, go on with the charger together with NIO charger park, because if you have a charger and this charging is already return of investment, what you have planned for that? You need all the storage to make the grid operation interactive for the AFRR, MFRR, and also utility server. So like in England and California, these products are already in the power markets. You have to go on with it. So that is something even now very new and fresh for the big manufacturer of the car industry. But they have to know that. So we have to also give more and more information for them. So this my purpose for that.
If I don't know you, I would think you are working in an energy company. Indeed. And so it's new defined itself as a more energy company at the end.
Because from the beginning of NIO, we planned already to do the swap business. Therefore, the whole team was established by also a power system doctor. Also my friend in China. We have the team already over 9 years. Most of us, we studied in the best Chinese and German university for the power system. This is not usual. This is not usual. Even you are going to the renewable energy for the solar, for the storage, for the chip, for the car industry, you cannot find so many power system engineers because power system engineers are only working by BMW and E.ON. They never go out to BMW. If you go to BMW, ask how much power engineer do you have from TU Munich or the Aachen? No, you cannot find anyone. They are in E.ON and BMW and Starbucks, something like that. So that's the problem. But this competition will go ahead and ahead. Really, I think the chance for the higher energy price in the last 2 years was a big chance for every stakeholder now in Germany. So I see very positive and a very good future now. I don't think that is slow or something not actual in the market. If you go to China, we pay only €10 for one charging or swapping because there the energy price is so low. If the energy price is so low, you don't have so many range to adapt it to make profit for you. And now we have to charge it. And I believe also from our moderator this morning, in 5 or 6 years, because due to the high energy price in the last 2 or 3 years, that every investment will come back. And then in Germany market, we have perhaps zero margin cost of the energy price. What is a fantastic situation? It's really nice.
That's very interesting. And of course the software, yeah, but for instance, the work you do in Smatrics is part of the answer too. I mean, you need software to properly manage those energy flows until we have a perfect system. But the software can help balance. And what's the past lessons you learned in Austria in Smatrics?
Yeah, I mean, one part is having reliable chargers where you just get there and you can charge. But I think something that's very interesting is exactly like, I also think that vehicle to grid is a bit more in the future. It's not a clear-cut case that is right there tomorrow, but load management, smart load management, where actually also power companies can tell you maybe you get a bit of variability of the load, but for that, so with that we can reduce your load, you actually get cheaper prices. And there has to be software in between that actually takes out the load. For example, tells the charger, okay, you have, 10, 11 kilowatt hour chargers at your premises, or even maybe 5 HPC if you're in logistics, if you want to charge it fast. And then if this is implemented in, all the companies, or in the majority of companies, and suddenly you have hundreds of thousands of chargers that you can just reduce maybe 1 kilowatt, 5 kilowatts in the load, and the software smartly balances, and then also you have a prioritized chargers where okay, this car has to go out and it has to be charged faster than the other cars. If you manage this, I think you can also balance the load from a software point, enable these opportunities, which also helps the whole ecosystem.
And Brandon, maybe some lessons from America were bring to Germany, into Elli, in terms of energy business. Because at the beginning at Elli, it was only about hardware. But Electrify America was more integrated into the energy business. Are you replicating the business model, or just trying to diversify the revenue sources, or?
Electrify America and mainly CPO business of hardware. Yes, they're also an energy business. So, Elli, last year with the CEO for Electrify America, so Giovanni Palazzo, our CEO. So he gets this part of the business, right? But are we trying to replicate what Electrify America doesn't know? Are there synergies? Definitely. So for Elli, it's, we were going down the whole, the idea is to transform ourselves from a hardware business, because we do a lot of hardware, we do wall boxes, but we also do DC hardware, and become an energy business. We are an energy retailer in Germany, where we want to shift those revenues. And the goal is here, as everyone's discussed, the vehicle to grid will offer you so much, because the amount of batteries you can have under management. And that's the idea. It's nice to have this. It was mentioned several times. That let's use that sun and utilize it. So we definitely think that's the way we're going to go. That's also how we're, as a company, setting a course for sale in the long term to position ourselves to become a software-driven. And I think there's a lot of things we talk about here. I think we get a little bit sometimes sidetracked because we're so deep in the industry. There's a lot of CPOs, a lot of energy companies, grid operators, very much talking about the commercial element, the technical elements, right? At the end of the day, the system needs to work for the consumer. And the consumer is not as into it as we are. Sorry, he just wants it to work. And the consumer is to a certain extent cost sensitive, but I think it's also made too much of an emphasis put on cost. The consumer is more convenience and reliability driven, really, than cost. I mean, cost will always play a game, but the consumer, I think, wants something that's reliable. And I think that's where the whole game needs to go, and you need a lot of scale to boost batteries under management, and I think that's the game a little bit to achieve that. And how do you get through the entire regulatory, how do you get through the entire technical, the commercial element, to the end have a really simple mechanism for a customer to say, now plug in, and now they plug out, or now use the charge, or whatever. I mean, that's really, I think, the last bit, the complexity, which is going to be difficult to manage, right? Because the customer, in the end, car is independent, always has been. Customer wants to go, should always be full and drive. And that's how do you position that game with the customer to say, utilize your battery and get a value out of it, because it will benefit the whole energy transition.
Indeed, service with consumers indicates that they are willing to pay more for the charging service if it's a more reliable network, actually. Yep. And this is something shocking, because everyone might think on the logic of pricing competition, cheapest energy, but no. Some drivers, and not only the premium drivers, they are willing to pay more just for be on time, at work or on vacations or whatever. But don't you think, all of you, that perception of the consumer is not only about the charging experience, but the whole transformation that may confuse a little bit the brand's perception? I mean, in the future, or maybe now, some drivers are thinking, is this a car company or battery company? Is this a car company or chargers company? Or is this a software company or CPO company? Or energy company or something else? Yeah,
I can attack that question. So let me start with the first, the whole cost thing. It is the complexity of coming from a highly subsidized market, and that the electric mobility needed it. You take Tesla as an example. Superchargers free for life. Everyone took it. And then all of a sudden it was okay. It's no longer free. It's a cost, but it's a very cheap cost. Now the cost is somewhat volatile. It's not cheap. It's not. That is how the whole industry is so moving. And you have a lot of people vocal that have joined the e-mobility journey at some point. They say, it's all energy used to be free, or it used to be this much, and now it's getting so expensive. And people compare it also to the cost of petrol and diesel, which is fair enough. It's an alternative energy source, and that's the complexity. But I think people also overestimate. I mean, the people that are so vocal about this thing, it says it's all about price because it's the journey they've come from. And, we'll see the same thing now. We've got rid of the subsidy in Germany. People don't buy electric car anymore because they have subsidies in there. And if you position yourself purely on cost, you're going to go to zero-sum game where it's just going to be about cost. It needs to be about the broader value equation. And you see it in the automotive industry now. I mean, you can always get whatever an OEM sells you, be it for spare tires or for a service, always get it cheaper. But the reality is that a lot of consumers still go to the dealership, get their things done because it's a level of quality, it's service, it's reliability, it's simplicity. And that's also how the whole energy game needs to go. There will always be a cost leader element to it. It'll always be a part of the market that goes purely on cost. But a lot of people want the reliability, they want the convenience, and that's how you got to position yourself. And that's also where we got to compete with one another, is that we have different models and different products in the market.
And how do you face that, Drive, the consumer perception? Because energy companies are stuck in such an uncomfortable position because many citizens, when prices go high, they hate the energy companies. They are bad people. They want to take us our money. But actually, it's not as simple like that. Yeah. So how do you face that reputation issues that somehow all companies must to take care, but energy companies are such a really not easy to handle. Yeah. But we know. Yeah, we are professionals. We know the industry. We know it's not as simple like that.
Yeah. How do we face it? It's at the moment the prices are going down, but they will never go down in the level that it was before the energy crisis. We are now, I would say, about 6 to 7 cents when you buy energy purely without any taxes or grid parts in it. It was beforehand, it was about 3, so it's still a rise of 100%. And this is, I would say, how do we face it? We try to face it with a more complex solution. You're right, it must work for the customer as convenient as possible, but giving those that have the possibility also the idea of be your own energy producer with a photovoltaic system and store your energy at home. Use your car as an additional storage. So work on that. Don't just fall into the old world, just purchasing energy for your own, for yourself or for your company, but try to be active, try to build the system for yourself. It's possible. It's from an investment perspective, maybe 7, 8, 10 or 11 years, then you have you still have it in. And I think this is how we try to change also the way of thinking, not only being the one consuming energy, but managing energy. I think this is what we try to do and making that as easy as possible for the customer, absolutely. And then about the cost part, it's absolutely right. I think being comparable with a combustion engine or even showing one time that we can be cheaper with exactly that system to prove that, I think, is the one barrier we have to go through. And then about convenience, you are absolutely right. But at the moment, if I'm specialized in the B2B business, talking to those fleet managers at the moment, the problem is for everyone, it's much more expensive now to electrify my fleet than to stay in a combustion situation.
Right.
And this is a little bit, to go through that barrier now is now what we have to fulfill. And then convenience, make it easy. That's absolutely the way. And we try to do that in combining all, let's say, puzzle parts of the energy that we can provide.
Yeah. Sebastian, maybe your main competitor, you told me this morning, is the energy company in Austria. How is that a software company competes with an energy giant? Yeah, so they have the capital investment capacity, they have the network. How are you feeling that gap of the reliability, the access to the network, so custom solution for fleets?
Well, first of all, we are not alone, so we have strong partners, we have strong shareholders that also help us. And together with them, for example, also so on the CPO side, where actually a lot of investment has been taken in Austria, it is the joint venture Smatrics NBW. So actually there is, of course, a strong partner on our side. We don't do it alone. And I think that makes us a very strong player in the market. So we are supported by strong partners, by energy companies. They also bring investment, but still we are a strong and agile company. We have this startup vibe. We can fast, we can develop new software, we can develop new business cases. And I think that really helps us to be strong in the market.
Is there a metric you want to show or share with us? Because you are very much focused on the metrics business. Yeah.
Well, I think, because we talked as well before, I think it's very interesting this, because the cost of owning an EV car, often like the public charging prices are taken, and you calculate it compared to a combustion car. But what they often forget is how much you can actually charge at work, at home, and where you have way cheaper prices. And I see like if the needs we actually provide software solutions and we provide them dashboards and insights, you can see that 2/3, 3/4 sometimes like they charge at work. They don't charge publicly. They don't have to consolidate there, and often sometimes they have photovoltaic. And I think that actually makes the business case, and I think that's very interesting that it's shifted so much where actually people are charging.
Talking about fleets, Mr. Liao, is a swap system by NIO going to be available for fleets?
Yeah, of course. We are brothers. That's true. Yeah, actually, we provide also chargeable, swappable, and upgradable cars. And if we're talking about the e-mobility in this branch, is really now we have the traditional provider automobile like BMW, Mercedes. Either they manufacture only the car, or like BYD, they Porsche, they want to also set up a public charging network. And in that case, NIO is the only, the unique provider who can provide the swap station and charge station, and also, many software update for that. I agree with the other experts. Is really, before I joined the NIO, I think that e-mobility, e-car should be the combination between the mechanic and also the electronic, these two brands, but actually not at the most the mechanic 20%, 30% power, and 50% software. It's really I guess to know more and more software. If you are looking at even the share ABW, so many apps, and they upgrade really from month to month and not from week to week. It surprises everybody. It's really, and don't forget the BP, the AHA. It's horrible. Every week they have update of the version. You can see also every day from mobile phone. So therefore, I think the importance is we have so many stakeholders now today in the conference. We need to also think about the next years, not only swapping, but also with the charger station, with EMW, with solar, with perhaps also hydrogen, or any case, we can have cooperation together in Germany for more and more renewables supply, and then can service our user. I have to say, I think very positive from German market. Why? Because the best product cannot from library. They cannot only from market. Why? Because you have the most difficult user now here. Why the German car industry is so strong? Because the driver here is crazy. They drive every day, 200, 250. So therefore they need to watch the Schnell charger, the faster charger. They need swap. I always ask my colleague from Holland, you drive every day 100. Why you need several charger for that? Or swapping, go home, or box finished. 100, whole country, 2 hours. Go back, 3.5. Why you need this faster charger? It's really. And why the people don't care the price? if you go from Berlin to Munich, for example, yesterday I drive from Berlin to here.
Yeah.
I saw 2 times, one in Stuttgart, the other time in Regensburg, I arrive here. Yeah. And before my Volkswagen station, I have to charge once in Leipzig by Unity and the other one in Nuremberg, and then 2 times, and I arrive in Munich. So I have to really, we have also the high technology battery. I can charge to 180 kilowatts. Sometimes I go to the cafe and come back, it's already from 30 to 80%. Sometimes for me too fast. 20 minutes, it's like this way. But it's really, believe me, only if we have always in Germany unlimited tempo, no highway charge, no highway fee. Here is the perfect country for every charger, car industry, because they drive fast and they need to be fast. They are really e-mobility, same mobility people. So therefore, I think this is a very successful story here.
I have the feeling that if we have some beer charging supply here, we can extend the conversation for 2 more days. But unfortunately, we are run out of time. Please, thanks to these industry leaders. Yeah.
It's enough.